Thanks for coming tonight, guys. Table 6, talking about apprenticeships in partnership with Truro and Penwith College. What apprentices do people have in their businesses already, and how are you using them? Are they new apprentices that you're bringing in, or are you using apprenticeships to train existing staff?
At Hertzian, actually, we have one apprentice which is moving from a level 3 programme to a level 4 programme. During his level 3 programme, he was extremely successful and he passed that. There was a need and requirement to keep this apprentice on to move on to level 4 and to increase his skills and to increase his learning. Because it was successful, we decided to go back to the college and actually hire some more apprentices. So we actually took on 2 more apprentices that are on the same level 4 programme now, and they're all doing software development. And in Cornwall, it's quite difficult to find people with those kind of skill sets and those expertise. So the apprenticeship programme, teaching that's ideal for us, really.
So we have a mixture of both. So we have some new staff coming in as apprentices, and we also have some of our existing team members looking to upskill or to be able to grow within the business, and the apprenticeship obviously enables them to do that. So like yourself, we've had some people who have started at a level 2 that have then gone on to do a level 3, so it's a really nice development programme for them. And we've got them throughout the organisation, so we've got some in the spa, and that's been quite successful. We've been doing that for a few years now. We also have a few from our maintenance team, some of our chefs, and also some of our housekeeping department have had 1 or 2 do the business administration, but not under the new standards.
Yeah, same for us though. We have a mix of new starters coming into our organisation, and also we use them for our existing employees. Our programme is based on looking at what our workforce skills and capability requirements are now, and also what we're going to need in the future. And we look to recruit new apprentices in based on what's needed. We look at entry-level roles, level 2, level 3, and we're now starting to look at bringing more people in at level 4 and level 5 apprenticeships as well.
Has everybody started to use the apprenticeships then for existing staff to upskill them?
I think one of the things that we all look to do at Hertzian as well is actually, once they've finished their apprenticeship programme, is give them full-time employment or move them onto a higher level apprenticeship programme to just continue their learning. Because of the nature of the skills that we need as software developers, if we can homegrown skill sets, that's perfect for us.
That bit about growing your own, that's very much the ethos we have adopted as well. Rather than just bringing people in for a year or 2, we're looking to where we can help support and develop and grow them into our business and keep them in employment and watch their careers develop.
Good evening. Tonight you will be having roasted thyme beetroot with blue cheese beignets and a rocket and pine nut dressing. Okay, the beignets are a choux pastry which we've just put some blue cheese in, Cornish blue cheese, and then deep fried in the fryer.
So let me just introduce you to the wine that I've decided to go for today with your starter. So because of the freshness, the sweetness and slight bitterness of your dish, I decided to go for something slightly unusual. It's a blend of Grenache and Viognier from the Gard, so south of France. So this one's going to be extremely expressive, still a dry white wine, but you've got a lot of peachy, apricot style of flavor. You've got some white spices as well, and the texture is going to be quite creamy, but because of the acidity and the lemony character at the end, it's still going to be fresh, and it's going to keep your palate fresh and crisp.
So what do you think are some of the stereotypes that people still have about apprenticeships where they maybe see them wrongly?
Cheap labour. I think that's one of the biggest stereotypes I hear, and it annoys me a lot because apprenticeships, although you can pay less than the minimum wage for them, it's not necessarily something that you should do, it's just something you can do. We've hired apprentices for 2 years now, and the first year we hired apprentices, they were extremely useful and they're a brilliant addition to the team. And that's the reason we've continued hiring apprentices, because they're not just cheap labour, they're a great addition to the team and they help produce the products and produce the services that Hertzian offer. So yeah, I think for me the biggest stereotype is the cheap labour kind of idea of apprentices.
I'd agree with that as well, and also that they are for young people and young people only. So I think that's a big one. So we've got one that's doing their maintenance apprenticeship now that's over 50. I won't give their age away, but yeah, for them it's a really big deal. They didn't get any qualifications when they were younger, so this is a massive opportunity and an opportunity for them to be qualified in what they do, which is something that has held them back previously when they've been looking for promotion or job opportunities. So yeah.
I'd agree with both of that. The cheap labour, that myth is still there to an extent within the council. We're really conscious that we want to make our apprenticeships, particularly new people coming into the organisation, we want them to be a sustainable part of our workforce, and we want to pay them a decent living wage that they can afford to work for us and have a quality of life as well. We part of our apprenticeship programme last year, we reviewed our pay rates, and like Chris said, you don't have to pay below the minimum wage, and our rates, we hope, are attractive and reflect a good quality of apprentice.
If you think of the value you get from an apprenticeship, because I think if we do sometimes business coaching, and business coaching is not cheap. It's a really good developmental tool, but it's not cheap. But if you think of an apprenticeship, you get that taught element, and you also get that one-to-one coaching in the workplace, which actually is quite a nice deal and not something you would probably get with a lot of training programmes, if that makes sense.
That works really well for us as well at the council, because where we've got employees on apprenticeship programmes and where there's a requirement for some coaching or some mentoring as well, it's great for us because we've got such a big workforce. We can call on people who already have those skills in the workforce, so they may not be undertaking the apprenticeships themselves, but they can help their colleagues, they can help develop and support them through those coaching and mentoring activities as well.
I think that kind of comes back to this idea of evergreening your members of staff and kind of up-training the people that currently work with you, and instead of them leaving and looking for other places of work, or maybe not getting kind of job satisfaction that they require because they're not doing the kind of job they want, they can get the training and move to maybe a different department or take on more responsibility at work. So generally in the company or in the organisation, there's a better feeling in the office because people are doing apprentices, they are still learning, they're advancing personally, their kind of development plans and stuff. I think that is one of the things that apprenticeships are really good for.
Okay, so you have a Thai duck breast, which we've served you pink, with wilted spinach, dauphinoise potatoes, red wine and ginger jus, and micro coriander.
So now red wine, because you've got the duck breast, which tend to be quite meaty and quite full of flavour, you've got a red wine reduction as well. I went for something quite concentrated, medium to full-bodied, which actually is a surprising blend. So you've got some Tempranillo, which is a grape variety, main grape variety for Rioja. In terms of flavor, you're going to find a lot of smokiness out of it because it has been aged in wooden barrels, so it's going to bring even more structure. However, it doesn't really affect the natural flavor of the wine. So all those plummy black cherry style of flavor are still there, still intact, and altogether it works very well.
So I always think of with the apprenticeships, it's kind of a three-way thing. So obviously, to get a really good outcome, you need a really good apprentice, so someone who's really determined and willing to learn and is going to put their all in. I think you need a good training provider who's going to give them the skills and knowledge and kind of look after them. And then I think the employer part is equally really important, and what the employer puts in. So I was thinking, what sort of things do you do in your businesses to kind of support your apprentices and kind of get the most out of that experience?
I think for us, we try and provide that support mechanism or an idea of what that support will be right from even before we recruit the apprentice. We're looking at how we attract them, how we advertise our vacancies, how we can make sure people are really interested in the opportunities we have. We've taken a cohort approach to how we bring apprentices in, so we'll bring in a group at quite a large 15 or 20 apprentices at a time. That means when we've got a whole bunch of vacancies, we can advertise them like through an open day, so we can get people in and engage with the managers who they might be working with and really get an idea of what it is they're applying for, and to learn a bit about our business areas and what we do. That's proven to be really successful. It means when they do come, if they do apply and they're successful in that application, they start working for us, they've already got a bit of an idea of what they're coming into. That's starting to work pretty well for us.
So for us, I think it's about the line managers engaging with the learner and the college, so making sure that they're given the opportunity to practice the skills or to be able to demonstrate that they're able to fulfil that requirement. And also for us, I guess, as well, is about creating opportunities. So if we have somebody who's learning a new skill, for example, we will offer them models in the spa, so our own team members can go and experience the spa, so it's kind of like a double win. But they get the opportunity to practice before they're faced with a real client. And the nerves may kick in, so they've had a practice run a few times. And then also our team can see what value those apprentices are adding, so double win.
I think for us, we just have to have reasonable expectations from what we expect the apprentice to be able to actually do, and coupling that with actually a lot of tutoring, a lot of mentoring in the tasks they're doing, because the tasks in which we set out for the apprentices, because they're software related, they can be quite difficult and they can be quite strenuous and actually quite stressful. So you actually need to monitor the apprentices' progress quite closely to make sure that it's not getting too difficult for them, because of the nature of the apprenticeship, because usually they're quite young, might not always say that they're having issues. So you need to be aware of that and actually work closely with them. So at Hertzian, we kind of set the bar quite low to begin with so they can settle in while getting kind of one-to-one tutoring from an experienced developer. So after a period of maybe 4 weeks, after about a month, the apprentice is comfortable in the position they're in, they know what they're doing, they're happy with the processes and the tasks that we're kind of setting out for them.
So for your dessert, you have a lemon curd creme brulee. There's lemon curd at the bottom, then you've got your custard filling on top. I have glazed it with caster sugar, and it's just served with a homemade shortbread.
So apart from the amazing food, what's kind of stuck with you from tonight's conversation?
I think for me, it's been really great to hear from other people, different companies, different professions. We are a big employer, but it's really nice to take other people's ideas and see how they could work in our workplace and share some of the stuff that we're doing as well. That's been invaluable for me today, definitely.
So again, I would say just listening to the ideas that other people have, but just really reinforcing the value that apprenticeships do add, and just how nice it is to be able to watch someone from the day they come into the organisation to achieve the ultimate aim, whether that be to get onto the next level, the level 3, or to take it promotion as a supervisor, that it's just added value.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with both of those points. I think it's fantastic that we can bring employers around a table like this, discuss the value of apprenticeships, and for me it's a good opportunity to learn about what future apprenticeships could hold for us and for future employment and what that might look like having 20, 30, 40 apprenticeships with us.
Yeah, for me it's just a pleasure to speak to businesses that kind of really invest in their apprenticeships and really put the effort in. Because for a training provider, when you're working with a business who really looks after their apprentice, gives them lots of opportunities, mentors, coaches them, they're the ones that it's a real pleasure to work with, because you see that massive jump in that apprentice's development, and you see them, they're the sort of apprentice where you come to speak to them in 3 years' time and they're now managing that department, or they've moved on to a new role and things that they wouldn't have ever dreamed of at the beginning. So that's the kind of real thing that sticks with me. Thanks for you all for joining me for dinner tonight. I really appreciate you all coming. Really enjoyed the conversations we've had and the amazing food. And I think we all probably want to thank Penventon for hosting us tonight with the amazing food, amazing wine, amazing service.